some enemy of the Viltrumites. I mean, I guess it was, but it was basically created by this guy, right? Like using his own genealogy, right? Like his own genetic signature. He basically created the Scourge Virus, and what he's been doing all this time was actually amplifying it, improving it. It's kind of a last
So he backdoored his entire race, and he's making it even better. You already wiped out 90% of the population, and he said, I'm running it back. I'm doubling down. I'm making sure y'all niggas 6 foot under every single last one. He is a threat. This dude right here, I don't even know his name. He is a threat, bro. All right, so we are finally starting the Invincible comic. Now, as y'all know, when I read comics, I watch the video with y'all on stream, and then I go off and read them on my own time. Because I don't want to just, I read the series. The whole time I was watching a video. I don't move like that, so I'm going to read these on my own time. But I do want to get my first impression from these videos while talking to y'all on stream. It's going to be much easier than me reading it out loud. So, we're starting exactly where Season 4 is going to start. There will obviously be some stuff different. There's some show-only things like that one demon dude, the mummy, things like that. So stuff like that will not be answered here. But I think overall, Invincible will probably go 1-to-1 from most of this. And we are going to start right now. I'm probably going to go as long as we can. And then we're going to try to get this out at least like once a week. I do have an Invincible video planned on the comic, so I do want to watch this as soon as possible. And yeah, so make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, tap into the channel. We're gonna get right into it, bro. Let's go.
Hard times. And so Mark, understanding that philosophy.
Can you raise the mic volume? My mic volume that low. I heard that already before today. Is this better? I put it at the standard dB. Is that better? Or maybe I could put it on the mic itself. I don't know which way makes it louder. I don't want to like make it too loud for y'all. I hope that's good now. That good? I hope that's good. I gotta go to sleep. School starts at 7:25 tomorrow. Peace out, Zeph. Hey, peace out, Shanair. You the GOAT, bro. Peace out, Snare. I appreciate you for earlier. Alright, you gotta watch. You gotta see Supercube. The fights are insane. I do have a video on Chinese anime, and Supercube is in there. I promise you, bro. I'm tapped in. I'm on that.
And Mark, understanding there are times when I'm going to have to go to the limit, and there are times when I'm going to have to kill people. That's him growing up and accepting the way the world is. It's one of the coolest revelations of the entirety of the story. What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and we are back with Invincible, and this is technically the prelude to the Viltrumite War, right? How the war kind of starts ramping up, things like that. So what we're going to do here is we're largely going to skip over what Mark is doing, with the exception of a couple different things, and we're mostly going to focus on what's happening with Omni-Man, Alan the Alien, the Coalition of Worlds, all that kind of stuff, right? Okay. So the first thing we get here is basically the origin of the Viltrumites.
So I've been told,
as opposed to the kind of little
I've been told that what's it called, bro? I've been seeing my frame of me on Twitch breaking my pizza. I look crazy. I've been told that Comics Explained does do better in terms of explaining comics than Comic Story. I know we watch Comic Story most of the time. Recipes to go. If y'all down for like some of the absolute series, I could try to start watching Comics Explained and see what y'all feel about that. Because when I watched the Justice League video, a lot of people in those comments were saying that like Comics Explained just went into way more detail, and like the video that I watched actually just missed like key parts, and I did not peep that until I read it for myself. I did not peep that until I read. I would have never knew. So like, let me go to the live channel. It was like this video right here. It was this one right here. I had mad people in the comments saying that, so I'm gonna definitely keep that in mind. We're gonna try it for this one, but let's see what's up.
Tidbits of information that we got over the course of those early.
He be yapping heavy, but he gets the info out there. Yeah, that's what I've seen his videos before. I only don't click them because like he do be yapping. He does go into insane depth, but he does yap. He does give his own opinions on it too. Which I'm not saying I don't care about his opinions, but it's like when I'm reading the story of a comic, I kind of just want to care about the comic, to be honest. But he's still the GOAT though. Shout out Comics Explained.
issues. And so one of the first things that's basically hit on here is that when it comes to the Viltrumite race, that initially they were just a wildly powerful race that occupied a world, and that was basically it. But along the way, because they were so violent and because they were looking to become the most powerful race in existence, or at least more beyond what they already were, what they started doing was culling the weakest of their race, right? As they say, a team is only as strong as its weakest member. And so because there were weak individuals here, they cast them out or destroyed them. Well, they really just destroyed them, didn't even cast them out at all, but they just eradicated them completely. And then in turn, they started focusing on building their race up and kind of allowing the strongest individuals to rule. And that was basically it, right? So there was really no weakness among the Viltrumite race. And so what you ended up having along the way was that while they were just overwhelming, just this overwhelming force, that suddenly their enemies created a virus. Now, this is the funny thing about that. We're actually gonna learn more about this here in a little bit, but a virus basically came into existence called the Scourge Virus that basically swept across the entirety of the Viltrumite race.
Wow.
And only two things happened. Either those individuals who were infected, some of them succumbed to the virus and basically died of it, or for others, they experienced weakness, right? They kind of lost their...
Dude, imagine your ops hating you so bad, they made a virus specifically for your race to get you gone, to get you exposed, to get you killed. That is so insane. No way the Viltrumites were running like King Von across the universe to that extent, where someone had to develop a virus to actually take them niggas out. That's how Conquest lost his arm. That's how he lost his arm. Ain't no way. Didn't white people do that with crack? That is a crazy story, but that is true. Not even lying. That's sickle cell, bro. High key, bro. That's crazy, though. Goddamn.
Invulnerability. And so in doing so, threats that would normally be something they could easily overwhelm, they were destroyed by. And so the result is that over the course of this period of time, while it ravaged their race, about 99.9% of all Viltrumites were completely destroyed. The irony about this, and the crazy thing is, despite all of that, the Viltrumite Empire endured. And we'll actually find out why, because Thrag, or Freddie Mercury as you guys like to call him, was the guy who basically pulled it off. Now, one of the crazy things about this is what's so nuts about the Viltrumite Empire, what they did with the bodies of those who died, they actually turned them into a ring around their own world. And so following that, a couple of things happened. The first is that
a ring around their own. This is what that is? Bro, they got a protective coat of Viltrumite bodies around their planet? Nigga, that is absurd. Bro, they are some savages, bro. Nah, the Viltrumites are definitely worse than Saiyans, bro. I'm so sorry. They are so much worse than Saiyans. They are so much worse than Saiyans,
the
bro.
Viltrumites basically used their reputation as a means to instill fear across the universe. If people knew there were only 50 Viltrumites left, at that point they would just be like, throw everything at them, right? It'd just be a war of attrition. And eventually they would just wear them down, right? It might take a long, long time to do, and countless people would die. But at the end of the day, if the universe wanted to get rid of the Viltrumites, that would be a sacrifice they would have to be willing to make. And so using their reputation to basically kind of go forward and say, we're a super mighty race, and then having one member of the Viltrumites show up to a different planet and then conquer it in the name of the Viltrumite Empire, just the name of the empire itself instilled enough fear that most races basically bent to it, or at least most of those races that were confronted bent the knee to the Viltrumite Empire. Those who didn't were basically eradicated, or at least forced into subservience. The other thing is the Viltrumites actually started experimenting with crossbreeding, which is to say, breeding with other races that were out there. And this is the reason why Earth is so important, because what Nolan says is that humans are basically perfectly compatible with Viltrumites, and that procreating with a human would basically stand the best chance of bringing Viltrumites back up to where they were before, right? Kind of increasing their ranks and returning them back to quote unquote the glory days of the Empire. And that's the...
No wonder Omni-Man got on what's his wife's name? I'm forgetting. I'm blanking. No way Omni-Man got on her so fast, bro. He saw the finest Asian shorty he could find, started crushing, bro. Straight breeding camp, bro. Debbie. Nah, real life. The Viltrumites be moving like Japan in World War II. Literally moving like Japan in World War II. Dude, Japan was one of the worst countries beforehand, bro. Oh, Toby came back. You sorry, blah, blah, blah. I was drunk. I what you gonna do? I felt ignored. That's no excuse me. Hey, you good, bro? Hey, accept my thing on Discord, bro. I DM'd you, and I did not hold you. We double checked. Everybody saw it, twin. I'm gonna show you right now, and we will get back into it. We didn't. I did not hold you. I took off my suit. I came back. You were before this guy. I go through as much as possible. I'll probably end the segment. I came back. Once it hits 10 o'clock, I'm going to read. Let me see if I can skip ahead. 5, 4, I had your hand raised. 3, I counted 2, down. 1, and you were not there. I did not hold you, my boy. I'll probably start. I hope you're still in here. I did not hold you. You were not there when I called you in. You were not there when I called you in. I did not hold you. But just accept my DM on Discord. Water under the bridge, bro. You all good. Hopefully my girl didn't DM you. If my girl DM'd you, if my girl DM'd you, bro, I don't know what to say. Bro, that's a Nigerian woman, bro. She probably put you in a noose. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I hope she didn't. Let's continue, though.
One secret about why it is that Nolan was truly on Earth that he never told Mark, that the planet was going to be turned into a breeding camp, right? They were literally going to continue their campaign of conquering the universe, and while doing that, essentially have humans procreate with Viltrumites and then produce children. It's pretty twisted, and it's pretty sadistic and screwed up, but at the end of the day, that was the whole purpose of the Empire. Now again, Nolan's turned against the Viltrumites, so that's the reason why he's really spilling the beans to Alan the Alien, because he's trying to provide as much information as possible.
Dating a Nigerian, I am indeed a beautiful word Nigerian. Yes, sir.
Possible that can be used to bring down the Viltrumite.
He definitely sold the peace treaty, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
And so the result of this is he's like, I need to talk to the guy who runs a coalition of worlds. Now, from there, you basically pick up with Alan the Alien arriving at home to his girl, and then like as soon as they kind of, you know, they kind of
immediately start cracking, bro. This man Alan is a menace. I know like 15 of y'all niggas are gonna say wood in the chat too. I know y'all niggas nasty.
Doing a little of the damn thing. And then like Nolan shows up and she immediately freaks out and starts firing on him with a giant cannon that she keeps under the couch whenever her husband's away. But once it all settles down, you basically have Nolan who meets with Alan. Now, one of the things to know is that Nolan is basically wearing a costume here. And the whole reason for that is because no one's supposed to know he's there. If people just knew that Nolan, you know, that a Viltrumite was on the planet, they would freak. And that's one of the things that kind of keep in mind here. The leader of the Coalition of Worlds, we know he's a Viltrumite. Nobody else does. Well, I guess Alan the Alien does, but like almost nobody else does, right? Because the disdain for the Viltrumites is so extreme, they would oust him. Now, of course, this information is revealed to Nolan, and Nolan says, fine, if that's true, I want you to pull the two-lock, right? I want you to do this two-lock pull in front of me and show that it's true. Basically means pulling his beard out, and of course, you know, he's kind of, you know, Alan's like, dude, he did it, man. He's a Viltrumite. It's good. Chill. Don't make this poor sap pull his beard out again. And so the result of this is that Nolan and Alan are basically given a task, which is a really cool concept here. The Coalition of Worlds is really, by all standards of measurement, at least in comparison to the power and the strength of the Viltrumite Empire, running on a shoestring budget, right? I mean, they have a lot of sources that are there, but when it comes to just raw power and strength, they're not on the same level as the Viltrumites, right? Like Alan is like the only, or at least was the only member of the Coalition of Worlds that was on the same level as the Viltrumites, and that took almost forever to get to that point, right? It took a long time for him to get to that point. And so basically what they've been sent on here is a mission to travel the cosmos and to find various people out there.
Literally required hacks for Alan to get to a Viltrumite level, bro. I low-key love the power scaling of the series. I love how Viltrumites are so above everything. It makes them so imposing whenever they're on the screen. I love it, actually. I really do.
That can help them and really kind of enlist in the aid of the Coalition of Worlds so they can basically destroy the Viltrumites, right? It's literally just building up their resources, building up their forces is really all this is. Now, one of the things that happens here is you basically have Nolan who leads Alan to a guy by the name of the Space Racer. And there's a gun of the Space Racer laying here. This is a really cool concept by Robert Kirkman. The way this works is that the Space Racer and Nolan fought previously, and Nolan defeated him and then essentially killed him. The problem with this is that the gun cannot be touched. There's a relationship between the Space Racer and the gun, and that if Nolan were to pick it up, that basically it would leave his control and go immediately to the Space Racer and then basically resurrect it. More so than that, the only person who can fire the gun is the Space Racer, so it's exceedingly unique to him, and that's why it was just left here. Now the idea is that because it's been so long, there's not really any major concern to worry about, and the gun is what they were after in the first place. The problem is that as soon as Nolan touches it, the gun takes off to a pile of rubble and basically resurrects the Space Racer. Racer. Now, it's kind of a funny thing because this gun basically fires indestructible bullets, right? Like whatever it is that this gun shoots will die. It's just one of those things. And so obviously you want to use it when it comes to the Viltrumites. The problem with this is that the gun ends up firing off and literally blowing a hole in an asteroid, which sets off a chain reaction and just has the asteroid belt, all of them start crashing into each other. So of course they end up escaping, they basically bail out of there, and then Space Racer follows them back to the Coalition of Worlds once they make a convincing enough case that, the Space Racer should believe in them, right? Because the initial reaction of the Space Racer is to kill Nolan, right? Like that's like his first response is to like kill this guy. And they're like, look man, well, like I'm sorry that we fought before, I'm sorry I did all the stuff that I did before, I didn't realize how screwed up I was, how wrong I was. At this moment right now, I'm here to basically make things right. That's what I want to do here. So come back to the Coalition of Worlds, I'm trying to do things right, team up with us, and we'll take out the rest of the Viltrumites. And so from there, it's just following from one location to the next. Now, one of the funny things that happens is after this mission that you have Nolan, who's basically crashing in Alan the Alien's house for a few months, and like Alan the Alien and his wife are just like banging, right? I mean, and from what—
Yo, this panel is crazy. Imagine third wheeling to that extent, bro. Bro, I would be sick to my stomach. You're not even enjoying the back shots. Look at this nigga. You're not even enjoying the back shots and you keeping me up like this, bro. I would have killed this nigga. Bro, that is so crazy, bro. Ain't no way. Ain't no freaking way, bro. Come on,
it seems
bro.
like when they do the damn thing, they do the damn thing, right? Like, I mean, it's it's all noisy and stuff. Alan's just like keeping his ears covered as best he can, and Alan's like, dude, we're not keeping you up, are we? He's like, no. It's one of those funny moments. I really hope they keep that in the show. Like I'm so hoping they bring that in the show. But the next stop is basically showing up on a kind of frozen world here. This place that basically houses these, well, really aliens called the Ragnars. Now, these are a big deal, right? The way that Nolan explains it, like they are vicious and they have to be careful. And when
this comic is freaked out. You're right. This comic is freaked out, bro. Dude, whoever made, I don't know. I always forget the name of the person who made this comic. He is freaked out. I think it's Kirkman or something. That nigga freaked out, bro.
Discovered that race of monsters. They sent a few teams to try to destroy them, and basically the monsters destroyed the Viltrumites, right? And in fact, Conquest was one of those. Not really destroyed, but like, that's how he lost his arm in the first place. But the whole thing behind this is these things are capable of killing Viltrumites. The problem is that a cannon's fired off, and when that happens, like the whole thing melts, right? Like literally this whole entire place melts. And because of that, all these things start thawing out, right? And so ultimately the mission's scrubbed, right? They're like, we got to get out of here. Because if they stay, they're probably gonna die, right? So while the things are still alive and they're still on that world, it's really Kirkman just kind of being like, okay, like we can use those for a future point in time. And in fact, that's what the leader does, right? Like the leader of the coalition, that's what he does. He's like, okay, look, so, the mission is not a total loss. We know where they are. And so maybe we can just like pick a whole bunch of them up and then just like drop them off in front of the Viltrumites and let them be a distraction. I'm not entirely sure. But from there, again, it's just kind of following along.
Damn, the fact that they were that vicious that they had to leave the mission is crazy. When do these niggas show up again? I don't. There's a dinosaur enemy I know that comes up on Earth. Is he of the same race as these guys? That's crazy. These things eat Viltrumites alive. That's insane. Oh, so you said yes, he is part of this race? Okay. 'Cause I know he's a menace from what I heard. Dinosaurus? Yeah, him indeed. Street saying Zeph Goon said invincible panels? Hex nah, bro. Hex nah. That be y'all niggas, bro. Last week when we was talking about Adam Eve, y'all was geeked.
That's what the leader does, right? Like the leader of the coalition.
Whenever y'all see her, y'all be wildin'. Every single time y'all see her, y'all be wildin', bro. Like Adam Eve got to be banned from the server or from my channel or something. Every time y'all niggas see Adam Eve, there's niggas in the chat going crazy. Over that.
Look, so the mission is not a total loss. We know where they are, and so maybe we can just like pick a whole bunch of them up and then just like drop them off in front of the Viltrumites and let them be a distraction. I'm not entirely sure, but from there, again, it's just kind of following along all these different things, right? The Klaxis plant is poisonous to Viltrumites, so they grab that. They end up going to the home world of Battle Beast to try to find him, to recruit him to the cause of the Viltrumite Empire. It's just visiting all these different locations and all these different places, and so what you end up doing is once it's all kind of done and they've grabbed whatever allies they could based on this mission, you have this moment where Nolan is brought into a kind of room by the leader and is basically shown the reality of what went on. That the leader was the first Viltrumite to really defect away from the Viltrumite Empire. More so than that, the Scourge Virus was not created by—
Did they revealed this in the show already, or someone spoiled this for me? I know he's been a Viltrumite. I didn't know he was the first, but I knew he was a Viltrumite.
some enemy of the Viltrumites. I mean, I guess it was, but it was basically created by this guy, right? Like using his own genealogy, right? Like his own genetic signature. He basically created the Scourge Virus, and what he's been doing all this time was actually amplifying it, improving it. It's kind of a last
So he backdoored his entire race, and he's making it even better. You already wiped out 90% of the population, and he said, I'm running it back. I'm doubling down. I'm making sure y'all niggas 6 foot under every single last one. He is a threat. This dude right here, I don't even know his name. He is a threat, bro. That's what you running? This nigga's a threat.
Effort and saying like, if this is what it really comes down to, we'll use this to annihilate what's left of the Viltrumites themselves. Now, kind of jumping back to Earth here for a second, not really doing a whole lot here, but kind of jumping back to Earth for a second, a couple things. We know at the end of the last story that Conquest had been captured by Cecil and then was being held in like this great big huge thing. This is just one of those examples of Cecil being an idiot, right? Like, you know what,
literal
like a 400-ton chunk of metal, sure, that'll keep a guy who's powerful enough to fly through space unaided, hold his breath for weeks at a time,
idiot.
you know, and is one of the most powerful beings in the history of the universe. Like, sure, that'll hold him. Oh no, wait a minute, no it won't.
Yo, booty buns
this guy
flying in the air. Imagine you was in the middle of Arizona seeing this nigga fly to Area 51. You just seeing big bare booty man cheeks up in the sky screaming at the top of your lungs, bro. Dude, I'd be sick. Imagine you just looking up, you just seeing Conquest cheeks on your horizon. Nigga, hell no. Hell nah, bro.
Really
Hell
just
nah,
breaks
man.
out
I'm
of the
good off
Mojave
that, bro.
facility and just flies back to the literally flies out of space and
This
goes back to
idiot,
the
bro. It's so Cecil looks so, he looks like a freaking bumbling idiot. He looks like a thumb in the comic, bro. I don't know if that's intentional. They made him look so like incompetent. Like he doesn't even have a chin. He looks so fat. Like they made him look like the Cecil in the show. I couldn't imagine coming out of this guy. I really could. He looks like a legit thumb. Literally, I can put my thumb right here. You color some hair on him and a little face. That's Cecil right there, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
The Viltrumite Empire. There is the whole idea of like the secret invasion, if you guys remember that, the whole idea of like those little squid looking things. That kind of happens a little bit and it's basically defeated. It's a minor plot point. If I'm being honest, I think Kirkman wrapped it up here to make way for the Viltrumite War. There's not a whole lot.
Yeah, the Sequids are kind of more like the episode they had in what was it, season 2? I don't really like the Sequids. They were kind of boring. And when I saw them at the end of season 4, I was like, oh, I don't know. The Sequids are really like they don't do nothing for me. I'll be honest. So whenever I read this, I'll see how fast Kirkman skimmed over this. But I would be happy if that happened in the show too, because the Sequids really don't do anything for me.
Lot that goes on there, right? It's just a bit of a conflict and people are ensnared and so on. But there is a massive development that goes on here, right? Mark's spending time with Adam Eve, and as you guys know, they've been touching naughty bits. And Eve is just freaking out because she's in the bathroom, right? She's like, leave me alone, right? As soon as Mark knocks on the door, she's like, leave me alone. He's like, okay. And then you find out she took a pregnancy test, and Eve is preggers. But like, it's kind of cool, right? I mean, these are a couple of things that are sort of going on here. Again, sort of skimming over what's happening on Earth so we can get back to the rest of the stuff. But nonetheless, with regard to Conquest, once he gets back to essentially the base of operation.
That's when she has the kid this early. This early in the story, she has the kid? Really? This early in the story, she has a kid? What? That's crazy. Mark's pullout game weak. I mean, have you seen Eve? I know y'all niggas would have a weak pullout game too.
Of the Viltrumites, he comes into contact with Thrag. Now, Thrag is the guy who runs the show of the Viltrumite race. Of course, you guys like calling him Freddie Mercury from that one video that we did, and I'm wholly on board with that, because if ever there were a guy who looked like Freddie Mercury, it's basically this guy, and I'd love to believe he listens to Bohemian Rhapsody. I guarantee there's gonna be Freddie Mercury memes in the show as soon as Thrag is introduced. I guarantee that's gonna happen. People are gonna be like, Freddie Mercury! So that's where he went, right? Like people are gonna start coming out with all these crazy conspiracies and whatnot, but the whole thing behind Thrag is this guy is powerful, and as the leader of the Viltrumite race, you would kind of expect him to be, right? That's
lineup always on point too. That's Anissa, right? Hairline always on point, bro. This nigga got it, bro. I know he got a lineup once a week.
The things about the Viltrumite race that we talked about
never,
is it's not necessarily
never
based
scuffed.
on
Hairline never scuffed. Hairline never out of place. Hairline always clean and faded. every time. It's
a
crazy.
kind of line of royalty. It is to a degree, but it's really more akin to like the Spartan Empire, right? The strongest rules that particular group, right? Rules that race. And if a situation were to arise where like you have a guy who runs the Viltrumite Empire and somebody else is stronger and they rise to prominence and topple that guy, that's the nature of things, right? The survival of the fittest, and only the strongest deserve to lead. That's the entire philosophy. And so you basically have like Conquest, who begs for his life, right? Which, just seeing how it was that things went down between him and Mark is an indication of how powerful Thrag is. But like begging for his life, really apologizing
the fact
for his
that Conquest is begging for his life to Thrag, I want to see how powerful that nigga is. The fact that you got Conquest, that demon, the Mr. Nobody wants to be my friend. Like, you would think he'd be stupid powerful if no Viltrumite wants to be his friend.
Carelessness and saying, look, like, you know, please spare me. You know, at the end of the day, like, all I want to do is
bowing down to Thrag,
serve in the glory of the Viltrumite Empire, that kind of a thing, right? Ingratiating himself, so on and so forth, which is kind of a sight to see for a guy that's so honor bound and has been around for so long and so incredibly powerful. And so basically, Conquest is tasked by Thrag to intercept Nolan and Alan the alien and to kill them, right? So like, do not, like he literally says, leave none alive. Intercept that team, destroy them, and that'll be it. If you fail,
a fire line. That is a fire line.
Me, you die, right? That's just, it's kind of crazy, right? It's nuts. It's a pretty intimidating moment between these guys. And so you do get a kind of brief moment where Nolan and Alan the alien show up on the doorstep of Mark and basically say, like, you're needed, right? Like, you have to join me. Now, in reality, Mark takes a moment away and just kind of talks to Eve about this whole thing because he doesn't know exactly what to do, right? He doesn't really know exactly what to approach on this. When Eve asks him, like, are you scared? His response is yes, but not for what might happen to me or even the outcome of the war. Not mostly, at least. He says, after everything that's happened, everything I've done, how I've changed, Viltrumite blood courses through these veins. I'm worried about what this war will bring out of me and what it could make me become. That's the fear of Mark. The fear of Mark here is not dying in the war with his dad, you know, fighting in the Viltrumite war. It's not facing off against some enemy and being just
This reminds me so much of Gohan. I feel like Gohan would speak like this if Gohan... Like, if Gohan, like, was to become the main character of Dragon Ball, and, like, if Toriyama... I know Toriyama doesn't really care about the sentimental stuff like that. If he was to, I feel like this is something that would come out of Gohan. Gohan would definitely say something like this. He would definitely say something like this. If there was, like, a big... Like, maybe, like, in between the week of the Cell arc, he would say something like this. I feel like Gohan would 100%... He kind of basically did, not to this extent, but he basically did when he said, oh, I'm not trying to go all out on you. Like, this is pointless, when he said that to Cell. Reminds me a lot of that, bro. That's tough. I like that a lot.
Absolutely pummeled and wrecked. It's that it'll turn him into a very dark and evil person. He'll end up becoming like his father, or at least the way his father was. What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and we are back with Invincible. Yes, we are. The beginning of the Viltrumite War Part 1. I guess officially the Viltrumite War. The last video was more of a prelude than anything else, but this is how it all starts.
This is where he splits right here. So 358, he splits right here. Okay, this is the perfect place for me to end. I don't want to end in the middle of something. So I'm going to take the plea, and I'm going to end it right here. All right, y'all. Very, 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 very successful stream. I love today's stream. I ain't gonna lie. Shout out my nigga Johan in the chat. What's good with you, bro? Loved today's stream. We definitely gotta do, we 100% gotta do that Discord stuff more often, bro. That was funny as hell, bro. I really like that. I hope y'all enjoyed it, too. I ain't gonna lie. I hope y'all enjoyed that real life. Excuse me. I appreciate y'all so much for tapping in. So much for tapping in. Make sure you have a great night. It's like literally exactly midnight right now. So make sure y'all get a good night, get some sleep this at the third. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely running that Discord stuff like once a month. That was great. I love building the community like that, keeping it like concrete, keeping it tight. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate y'all, my boys. I'm gonna catch y'all, bro. Peace out.